y'all, so I wanted to talk about how we paid off some hospital bills for a lot less than we were billed for. I had a bill for a hospital bill from back in 2007 for $8,000 because I had to have a whole body scan done because I had some kind of infection and we couldn't figure out where it was coming from, and my white blood cells were extremely elevated. So I had that bill of $8,000, and we definitely could not afford that. And then we also had another bill. It was combined, Dustin and mine. It was like 3 something for Dustin and then 3 something for myself, and we paid that down for only $30. So when we got those bills, we knew we couldn't pay them. So at that time, we were talking to a financial advisor through Keller Williams because we had gotten married, and in our mindsets, we knew a little bit about Dave Ramsey, but not a whole lot, and we weren't following his plan. But so we thought, okay, we got married, now we need a house, because that's the next step after you get married. So that's how we thought of that, and we started going to go look at houses, and then turns out that we couldn't afford a home. We had a lot in debt collections. Dustin did. I never had anything in debt collections like that. So that's when I realized that his debt will affect me too. So we sat down with the financial advisor for Keller Williams, because that was the realty company we were going to, and they provided a financial advisor to help us so we can build our credit score and what we had to do in order for us to buy a house. And all that was free. That they offered. I don't know if they offered that for free for everybody, but it was free for us then. And so he told us how we can pay off debt through debt collections, and how we can pay it off for a lot cheaper than what we owe. So we started doing what the tips he told us. Like sometimes they offer you like a settlement amount that's a lot cheaper. Like for instance, Dustin had a T-Mobile bill for $2,000 in debt collections, and they sent him a bill that they will settle for $500. So what we did, we made sure we got it in writing, and then we wrote it out in a check, not money order, because he told us to avoid doing money orders because we want to leave a paper trail in case they come back later on saying like, no, you still owe us for this, so we can show proof that we paid it off. So we wrote out a check, and on the check we put paid in full. So he paid that down with $500. He settled that account in debt collection. So we started doing like those process. So what I did, I knew we had the bill for $8,000 for myself, and then combined with Dustin and I about 600 and something. I made an appointment with the medical billing in the hospital, and I sat down with her and I showed her my bill book, because I've always budgeted even before Dave Ramsey, and I showed her my bill book. I showed her, okay, this is what our rent is, this is what we pay for insurance, this is what we pay for our car. We only have one car then, and we can't afford to pay this off. So she did was she sent out my $8,000 medical bill to this program, like it's called Trinity something, but they help you pay your hospital bills, and they pay the majority of it. All I had to pay out of that was $800, and I was able to do that in payments, like $50 payments per month. So I was able to do that, and I paid that off that way. And the 600 and something dollars, she sat down with me and she said, you know what, if you give me $30 now, we'll call it clean. And I made sure I got that in writing also, even though she was right there in front of me. And I also wrote it out in check, paid in full. So that's how we paid off those bills. And a lot of our debt collections too, we got like we'll call them up and say like, okay, this is all I have, will you accept this? We can settle this out because I want to settle my debts. And sometimes they'll work with you, and that's how we paid off a lot. We paid off over $10,000 worth of debt collections of Dustin's side, because I didn't really have anything in debt collections, but we knew now that we were married that his debt was going to affect me too. So that's what we did, and we were able to pay a lot of those off, and we still have the receipts for a lot of them, just in case later on they, the collectors, they sell the ones they can't get the money for. So we want to make sure we keep a paper trail in case one day somebody pops up like, hey, you still owe this. Like, no, we don't. We paid it off in full. Here's a check number. And that's how we paid it off. And I know it was not Dave Ramsey inspired, but it helped us. So if it can help somebody else, just calling. I know we don't want to speak to debt collectors, especially after they harass us so many times, but you never know. You can call them and they might be willing to work with you in settling an account. They'd rather get some money than nothing at all. And if you're in there like close to bankruptcy, they'd rather get something than nothing, like completely nothing at all. I'm gonna be honest, I did lie to some of them. I told them that I was gonna file for bankruptcy, and I was trying to pay some off, trying to avoid filing for bankruptcy, and that kind of gets them thinking like, oh, okay, they file for bankruptcy, we're not gonna get zero, but if we settle, we're gonna get some of our money that they owe. And a lot of these debts were old, like really old, but we wanted to pay off our mistakes because it was his mistakes. But so that's how we did that. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope this is useful to you. I know it's not like in great detail, but it really was that simple. Just calling them and asking for a settlement, making sure you get that in writing before you pay them a penny, and then write it out in check, pay it in full after you get that in writing. So thank you for watching. Bye.